Hello, I'm Michael Topham, technical writer for digital photo, and welcome to this video lesson that's going to show you how to add basic text to your images and show you how to create drop shadows easily in Elements. Captions and credits can increase the impact of an image on a page, and it's a technique that's regularly used on large posters. It's surprising how much you can affect the mood of an image with different types of margin and text treatments, and we're going to recreate a modern look with two different images on this video. We're firstly going to start off and show you how to make a little space on a new canvas before adding a little text with the type tool. We'll also look into how you can change the background colour of this new canvas and how you can pick out colours from the image using the eyedropper to change the colour of the text. Once we've covered adding basic text onto an image, we're going to move on and concentrate on the drop shadow effect. To do this, we'll need to copy a text layer before changing its colour over to black. We'll then offset this new copy layer and finish off with a little Gaussian blur, but more on this technique a little later. For now though, let's start off by familiarising ourselves with the type tool in this first of two video lessons. Make sure that you have already opened up the image that you want to add the text to in Elements or Photoshop. For example, I'm going to be using this shot of a passion flower, and it's going to look so much more appealing once we've added a margin and a poster style caption. Head up to File in the menu bar and then go down to New and scroll across to Blank File. Just give that a click. Choose a preset that suits you, but for this tutorial I'm going to choose International Paper and a size of A4. Depending on whether you have a portrait or landscape image will depend on the orientation you want this new canvas to be, and I have a landscape format image, so I'm just going to swap my measurements around under the width and the height. So I'm just going to change my width to 297mm and my height to 210. Just double check that your resolution is set to 300 pixels per inch, your colour mode is set to RGB colour, and your background contents is set to white. Once you've inputted all these, you can go up and hit OK. Just move your image down a little bit so you can actually see your image and your new canvas sitting behind it. And then all you need to do is just go into the toolbox, pick out the Move tool from the top, hold down Shift on your keyboard and just drag this image onto that new canvas. By holding down the Shift button, we've been able to place this image perfectly in the centre of the new canvas. If the image is looking a little too small or a little too large on the canvas, you can just hit Ctrl and T to enter free transform mode, and then you can readjust the size by moving these corner bounding boxes. When you're ready to commit with the resized image, just either go down and click on this green tick, double click inside the image, or just press enter on the keyboard. If you would like to change the background colour behind this image, this is very easily done. But first of all, you need to make sure that you're selected on your background layer in your layers palette. And if you can't see your layers palette, just go up to Window in the menu bar and then all the way down to Layers. To change our background colour from white to black is very easy to do, and we just need to invert it. And to do that, I'm just going to press Ctrl and I on my keyboard. If you want to fill this background with a particular colour from the image, just go up to Edit in the menu bar and then go down to Fill Layer. Choose the colour under the Contents, which loads up the colour picker, and then you can pick out a colour you'd like to use from the image. For example, I'm looking to use these purple tones up towards the top left of the image, so I'm just going to click right there. Then I've actually got the purple colour right there, so I'm just going to click OK and OK again. And there we are, we've got our new background colour. For this image, I want to keep the background as black, and I think this works best. So I'm just going to press Ctrl and Z to take one step back, so I've got the black background again. And we can now concentrate on adding the text. Just go across into your toolbox, which you'll find on the far left of the screen, and pick out the horizontal type tool, and just click that beneath your image. Once you've typed out the caption or the credit that you want to have beneath your image, just click after the last letter and then just drag back to highlight all that text. You can then experiment with some of the different typefaces and font sizes in the options bar. You can also pick out colours from the image if you want to use those as your font colour. So just go up in your options bar, click on this open colour menu and then go into more colours, and then you can just use that colour picker to select a few colours from the image. So there we are, we've transformed the look of our image with this simple black margin that we've added and some simple text with the type tool. All that's left to do is flatten the image, which can be done by going up to Layer and then down to Flatten Image, and then you're ready to print it out of your printer and frame it behind glass, ready for hanging on the wall. Let's now move on and experiment with some drop shadows. A drop shadow is exactly as it sounds. It's a shadow that drops behind the original text. Adding this effect makes your text look just that little bit more professional, and many of you may have already given it a go using layer styles in Photoshop. Earlier versions of elements in Photoshop don't offer all these layer styles, so if you're looking to create a drop shadow the original way, this is how it's done. Go through exactly the same process that we did with the previous video lesson and move your desired image onto a new canvas by using the Move tool up in the toolbox and then holding down the Shift to make sure that you position it centrally. Pull out the Type tool from the toolbox and choose the font and colour from the options bar before writing out your text beneath the image. It's important at this stage that you can actually see your layers palette on the right hand side, and if you can't, just remember to go up to Window and then down to Layers. When you're happy with your text layer underneath your image, we need to duplicate this text layer, so just right hand click on the actual layer and then just go down and click on Duplicate Layer and click OK. You'll notice how the duplicate layer is now sitting at the top of the stack in the Layers palette, but we don't want it to be sitting there, we want it to sit between the original text layer beneath it and the image layer, so just hold down on that duplicate layer and position it in between those two layers. Double click on the large T in the layer thumbnail of this duplicate layer to select the text, and you can see how that is now highlighted. Move up to the options bar and click on the colour swatch box. Move the circle inside the colour box right down to the bottom left, and notice how your RGB values should all be set to 0, 0, 0. Change the blending mode of this layer from normal to multiply by clicking right here on the set blending mode for the layer, and then go down and choose multiply. This will now mean that your shadow will work on any type of background. Time to offset this copy layer, and make sure that you're selected again on the Move tool in the toolbox, and then just very gingerly just drag that text layer until you get to see the drop shadow. Just zooming in a little on the text shows that the edge of the shadow is quite hard at the moment, so we're going to soften this off a little by using the Gaussian blur from the blur options. Head up to Filter in the menu bar and then go down to Blur, across and down to Gaussian blur. The radius can be changed depending on the effect that you're trying to recreate, but we're going to go for a radius of around 4 pixels. When you're happy with your Gaussian blur, just go up and hit OK, and you can see that that's been applied onto the text. And there we are. We've created a drop shadow effect by copying a text layer, moving it beneath the original text layer and offsetting it with the Move tool. If the effect is a little too strong for you and you want a more subtle effect, why not try making the text the same colour as the background? Just double click on your original text layer to select it, change the colour of the text to the same colour as your background, and then it's the drop shadow alone that is defining the words. Make sure that you give some of these video lessons a go with some of your own images, and you'll soon be able to see how effective adding text can be. I hope you've enjoyed watching these two videos, and look forward to seeing you again soon.